For the first time in years, the House of Representatives is introducing a week of dialogue, interaction, and exchange of ideas for critical stakeholders in the downstream sector. The conference is coming at a time when a major investor in the sector, the Dangote Group, and some unions are at loggerheads over workers' unionization. House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, who was represented by his deputy, Benjamin Kalu, commended the House Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream for providing a platform for stakeholders to discuss and collaborate towards proffering solutions to challenges in the sector.
This conference could not have come at a better time. The oil and gas industry, especially the downstream sector, is witnessing an unprecedented revival under the progressive leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, whose renewed hope agenda is reforming and revitalizing key sectors of the economy. The effective takeoff of the Dangote refinery marked a turning point in our nation's quest for energy self-sufficiency. The anticipated emergence of other private indigenous refineries underlines the need for the National Assembly to continue to create a functional environment for industries to thrive. I therefore cannot stress enough the imperative of this conference and its implications for strengthening the systems around the petroleum sector for improved productivity and improve accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, agenda-setting programs such as this conference, which tend to galvanize critical stakeholders in the petroleum downstream sector, not only foster inclusiveness and commitment to genuine national development, but also reinforce citizens' trust in the commitment of the National Assembly and government institutions in driving sustainable development. The evolution in the petroleum industry today has been made possible by the landmark passage of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, a comprehensive, sweeping legislation that reformed the governance, reformed the administration, as well as the fiscal framework of the Nigerian petroleum industry. The law structured the NNPC, transforming it into a commercial entity, and established such regulatory bodies as the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, the NUPRC, and Nigerian Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the NMDPRA, thus renewing investors' confidence, reducing oil pilferage, promoting transparency and competition, and generally improving operational efficiency. Ladies and gentlemen, our legislative responsibility has always been to craft policies, enact laws, and provide the oversight that is needed that will strengthen this downstream sector and ensure that it contributes to a more secure, more efficient, more resilient Nigerian economy. The outcome of this conference, or conferences such as these, is that we will not only make laws out of the conversations that we'll have here today, we will make them more pertinent and make them more productive. We will also ensure that it will receive the avid cooperation and support of industry leaders. This conference, therefore, provides an invaluable opportunity for improved legislation. By bringing together government, industry, labor, and investors to share perspectives, confront challenges, and develop practical, forward-looking solutions to the challenges in the sector, this forum ensures that the conversation to be heard here will inform the framework of any policy in the energy landscape for years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigerians therefore expect certain deliverables from this conference, especially as they concern the prevalent infrastructure deficit that has hampered the full optimization of liquefied petroleum gas, the LPG, and compressed natural gas, the CNG. Solutions to energy security issues, pipeline vandalism, and dubious pricing, and policy clarity over certain regulations in the sector. As part of the larger energy transition, this conference is expected to develop a roadmap for sustainable energy practices and discover opportunities in new technologies that power solar, that wind, and hydroelectricity. In sum, this event provides a rich opportunity to create high-level networking that will lead to a new partnership, facilitate knowledge exchange in areas like refining, like logistics, like renewable energy integration, and decarbonization, among others. The imperative of effective legislation is enhancing the petroleum downstream sector cannot be overemphasized, the need of it. This Maiden annual Downstream Petroleum Week therefore reflects the National Assembly's unwavering commitment to evidence-based policymaking, stakeholder engagement, and genuine desire to transform the petroleum sector. Consequently, I urge you, esteemed participants and stakeholders, to regard your deliberation and participation at this important conference as a service to our nation. Our country relies on you to come up with innovative and creative solutions that will revamp the petroleum downstream sector, contribute to the overall development of the economy, and positively impact the country as a whole. As we begin this important conference, I urge everyone to engage with an open mind. Let us share ideas freely, challenge assumptions, and above all, let us focus on practical ideas that can move our downstream industry from where it is today to where we see it tomorrow.
Chairman, House Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream, Ikenga Imoguchinyere, disclosed that the Downstream Week is designed to provide recurring space for national dialogue where policies, programs, progress and excellence are assessed and celebrated.
This summit is more than a formal meeting. It is a national platform for reflection and renewal. It brings together the public and private sectors to discuss how best to reposition Nigeria's downstream petroleum industry as a driver of growth, innovation, and energy self-sufficiency. The annual Downstream Week is designed to be a recurring space for national dialogue, where we assess policies, evaluate progress, and celebrate excellence. It is a forum for accountability, innovation, and collaboration, aligning government, industry, and labor towards a shared vision for a competitive and transparent downstream sector. We are currently witnessing a historic transformation in our nation's downstream sector, a transformation born out of courage, clarity, and innovation. Together, these forces are shaping a new environment that is more open, more efficient, and ready for investment. The legislature has played its part by enacting the Petroleum Industry Act, giving us the legal backbone for lasting reform. The executive has taken bold and decisive steps by removing long-standing subsidies and setting our nation once again on the path of efficiency and energy reliance. And our regulators, the NNDPRA and the NUPRC, have shown professionalism and integrity in translating these reforms into action, restoring confidence among investors and stakeholders alike. Today, we have a gas ministry that have placed so much attention and focus on making gas the future of Nigerian energy transformation. Today, the value of our gas sector is rising and investment is springing up left, right, and center. We must also acknowledge the courageous role played by members of the Crude Oil Refiners Association of Nigeria, CORAN, who dared to venture where many foreign investors hesitated, demonstrating that Nigerian enterprise can drive industrial progress with vision and resolve. Their pioneering spirit reflects the resilience and ingenuity that define our nation's private sector. In the same breath, we commend dedicated staff and management of the NNPCL, Nigerian National Petroleum Company, for transforming the corporation from a loss-making entity into a profitable, performance-driven enterprise. Their turnaround effort has restored national confidence in our flagship energy institution and stands as proof that public corporation can thrive under transparency, professionalism, and discipline. We are not ignorant of the current reforms being undertaken by the management of NNPCL in the downstream sector in order to place the corporation in its rightful place in ensuring economic security for all citizens. This includes putting in place sustainable solutions to refining issues facing us today. We in the legislature assure them of our full support. Today, Nigeria proudly boasts of expanding refining capacity and industrial growth across the energy value chain. The results are already visible. Indorama Petrochemical has expanded its urea and fertilizer capacity to 2.8 million metric tons per annum, advancing agriculture and gas utilization. Watersmith Modular Refinery in Imo State is expanding from 5,000 to 50,000 barrels per day, showing the promise of indigenous enterprise. Opak Refinery in Delta and similar projects in Edo and Rivers continue to advance. And the Dangote Refinery, at 650,000 barrels per day, now stands as Africa's largest, redefining our refinery landscape and boasting regional energy stability. These developments, supported by over $13 billion in new upstream investment in 2024 alone, are clear signals of renewed investor confidence in Nigerian energy sector. Distinguished guests, one of the most commendable policy action in recent time is the NUPRC enforcement of the domestic crude oil supply obligation on all producers in Nigeria. This bold move ensures that local refiners, including modular and conventional operators, have granted access to crude feedstock before export allocations are made. It represents a decisive shift from policy rhetoric to practical support for local value addition, job creation, and energy independence. By ensuring that every barrel of Nigerian crude first serves the Nigerian refinery, the NUPRC have sent a strong signal. Nigeria will refine what it produces and consume what it refines. The House Committee on Downstream Petroleum Resources fully supports this policy, which aligns with our legislative vision to prioritize domestic refining capacity, enhance supply security, and strengthen the Naira through reduced import dependence. This is how nations grow, by empowering their local industries to produce, compete, and thrive, which is in line with the renewed hope agenda of this administration. However, progress must be matched with persistence. We still face challenges, from feedstock shortages and pricing uncertainty to regulatory overlaps. To address this, the House Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream intends to pursue new legislative measures to grant local refineries first right of refusal on crude allocation, streamline regulations to remove all unnecessary delay, assist the House to develop a refinery protection and promotion bill to classify refineries, whether modular or big refineries, as strategic national assets, ensuring they receive priority protection and support. Introduce measures that guarantee unhindered access to crude feedstock and promote non-disruption of refinery operations across the country. These steps are vital to sustaining investor confidence, creating jobs, and strengthening our energy independence. On labor issues, it must be noted that no reform can succeed without industry harmony. The committee is aware of the recent labor concerns involving some of the refiners and sector unions, which, while such issues are not uncommon in developing economies, they must never be allowed to undermine productivity or national stability. I therefore call upon both labor unions and industry operators to always pursue dialogue over disruption at all times. The SAL Committee stands ready to facilitate peace, fairness, and mutual respect in all industrial engagements. Our shared goal must be to protect jobs, sustain businesses, defend workers' welfare, and promote Nigerian economic sovereignty. To all operators in the downstream sector, let me emphasize that responsibility stands equal to profitability. Compliance with tax, safety, workers' welfare, and environmental standards is not optional. It is a patriotic duty and a mark of true partnership in national development. We acknowledge, and commend the NNDPRA, NUPRC, marketers, including other critical bodies such as Petron, Nogasa, MEMAN, NATO, IPMAN, NGA, DAPMAN, and other depot owners who continue to keep our energy supply chain running. Often under challenging conditions, your resilience and commitment sustain the lifeblood of our economy and strengthen public confidence in the sector. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the foundation for reform has been laid. The vision for industrial transformation is clear. What remains is collective will and the resolve to see reform through to success. Let us therefore deepen our collaboration across the legislature, the executive, the regulators, the operators, and the labor unions to build a downstream sector that is self-reliant, transparent, and globally competitive. A sector that powers industry, creates jobs, uplifts community, and secures Nigeria's energy future. Our agenda is to see Nigeria in the near future to be the refining hub of West Africa and the global community. Together, we can make Nigeria the energy powerhouse of Africa. It is a forum for accountability, innovation, and collaboration.
On the dispute between labor unions and Dangote Refinery and Petrochemicals Limited, Ugochinyere encouraged both labor and industry operators to always pursue dialogue over disruptions at all times, assuring of the National Assembly's readiness to facilitate peace, fairness, and mutual respect in all industry engagements.
Our shared goal must be to protect jobs, sustain businesses, defend workers' welfare, and promote Nigerian economic sovereignty. To all operators in the downstream sector, let me emphasize that responsibility stands equal to profitability. Compliance with tax, safety, workers' welfare, and environmental standards is not optional. It is a patriotic duty and a mark of true partnership in national development.
Our downstream sector continues to face issues related to infrastructure deficits, market volatility, supply chain inefficiencies, and the need for regulatory clarity. Addressing this requires sustained collaboration between the executive and legislature, underpinned by sound policy direction and consistent implementation. It is also a call for enhanced private sector participation, investment in technology, and adherence to global best practices.
Stakeholders attending the conference were asked to come up with solutions that will revamp the petroleum resources downstream sector and assist the National Assembly in formulating laws for the development of the industry.